Prince Harry's stupid comments. Welcome to Mark and Pete. Here's a thought.
Verbal missteps. If you constantly put your foot in it and persistently go on the attack, your next step could be your last, with a target on your back. Well, the
Yes.
avalanche of outrageous claims from Prince Harry's autobiography seems to have leaked out into the media. What's worse is that some of the comments that he has made in his book features times when he was serving in the British military. Now, in his memoir, the Duke of Sussex describes killing 25 Taliban fighters in Afghanistan as chess pieces taken off the board. Now, what's worse is the ex Colonel Tim Collins said that this was not how you behave in the army. And this has also riled many other people, let alone the Taliban. Making miscomments in this fashion isn't just about making sensational media, it goes much deeper. Clergyman Pete, I ask you, what does this now mean for Prince Harry and what are the repercussions?
Yes, interesting his comments there. Chess pieces taken off the board. You can imagine saying that, explaining how you might look at a military campaign in a sort of in a situation where you're talking about it academically, maybe in a seminar at a university or something like this. But to put that out in your biography, which I understand you're quoting it from, seems to be a bit strange in that it's effectively saying that's how the British Army
Mm,
views people in the Taliban. They just need to
yes,
be taken out. Yeah, it's unwise. However much
quite.
it's probably true. It's true in a strategic sense, but you would have thought he had would have people editing. Uh, doesn't he have editors? Don't they have editors in his publishing?
Well, clearly
Uh,
the editors aren't thinking about his safety. Now, here's the next step.
no, they're
Yes,
probably yes. That's probably a
the
good point.
senior Taliban leader, Anas Haqqani, has tweeted, Mr. Harry, the ones you killed were not chess pieces. They were humans. They had families who were waiting for their return. He went on to say, I don't expect that the International Criminal Court will summon you or the human rights activists will condemn you because they are deaf and blind for you. You can see this is riling, quite rightly, an audience where perhaps his comments were misplaced. I think that the point to you, as you've made, is should the publisher have said, do you not realize that this is actually perhaps
Yeah.
not the sort of thing that you should do? And even though it might be your opinion, it's ill chosen words, it's ill conceived, and I think that he didn't need to do it. I mean, this, in my opinion, isn't really exactly a story. What he's done is he's just actually mispositioned the British um, ethos, the whole principle of what actually happened there. And all he's done is he's resurfaced some rather difficult dialogue, in my opinion, which now both the military, as well as even indeed the publishers, and dare I say now even those close to Prince Harry, are going to have to manage very, very carefully.
Mm.
That's my
Yeah,
opinion.
but I think, however, I understand from the quote you've given me that he's. I understand what he was trying to say. I can see that what he was trying to say is, in that sort of situation, you can't think like that.
Yes.
From what you said, anyway, he's not saying that he gained pleasure from their death or that he hated them or anything like that. It's that you've got to sort of stand back from it if you're going to be able to kill people.
Well,
You've
here's
got
what Colonel
to sort of
Collins said.
distance yourself.
Colonel Collins, I
Yeah.
think, said, that's how
Oh,
you
Colonel
behave in the
Collins.
army.
Yeah.
Colonel
Yeah.
Collins, yes.
Mm.
He said, he has badly let the side down. We don't do notches on the rifle butt. We never did. The point being is,
Mm.
what he's now done, he's basically tarnished the reputation of the British Army and he's mispositioned it. And again, I understand, dare I say, that in Harry's naivety, he's trying to put sensationalism into his book. At the end of the day, he's trying to sell a book. But in my opinion, it's now getting to. I think he's crossed the line. In my opinion, I think he's now going beyond any normal sense of decency. The issues with his brother, the issues with his father, and many other things and revelations that have been leaked about his book is one thing. But when you start to do this, I actually do fear for him and his safety now. This is not the sort of thing you do. I mean, we've seen lots of people who take umbrage over this. Look what happened to Salman Rushdie. He spent, decades trying to defend
Yeah.
himself and struggled, and he was very fortunate, albeit that he's been maimed. He's been very fortunate.
No.
And
Yes.
I only use that as a different scenario, totally different positioning. But the
Well.
point here is, why do
Yes.
you want to put yourself in that situation? Worse
Yes. Well.
still,
Yes.
why do you want to actually discredit a credible unit such as the British Army?
Yes, yes. I mean, I think that is a different situation in that Salman Rushdie was making a point about the absurdity of believing in Islam, which obviously I agree. I've said it many times on our podcast that it's not that you don't need to regard Muslims as evil or in any way your enemy to see that Islam itself is a ridiculous thing to believe in. It's absurd. It's given even a few moments thought, you can see it's ridiculous, and that was being highlighted in Salman Rushdie's novel on the satanic verses, and that put him in the firing line. But it was worth saying, and if the mainstream media and other writers across the world had stood shoulder to shoulder with him, there wouldn't have been the issue. It was that he was left to hang out to dry. But this is different. This is a military situation, and it's a prince saying it. If a normal soldier had said that's how they coped with the inhuman position you're put in by simply seeing, then that would be reasonable. Even if he'd said, just as a general way of thinking, you need to think like that, and then went on to say, but of course I mourn for the families of those who've died, or something like that. I don't know the detail in the book. I mean, I've
Hmm.
not read it, but
No,
I'm
well,
assuming that he
it's
didn't say
basically,
that.
these are leaks. These are leaks, so people who have had a preview
Yes,
copy. But here's the point, though. I mean, I'm not sure what other revelations will come out of the book. I think that, again, we've touched upon the Harry Meghan situation in previous episodes, and we understand that perhaps Prince Harry has had some difficulty in his upbringing. Anyone who loses a parent is clearly going to be affected. My concern now is that, and again, it comes back to this quest and the pressure from publishers putting on him to put sensationalism into his interviews, into any kind of media, books, or anything else that he's planning, is really not a good thing when he starts to go down this route. So we can talk about the detail of any given comment, but my worry is, if I was guiding him, I would say be careful, because if he's trying to bring back some credibility, and if for any reason, and he has already openly pointed this out, that he wants to bridge link the relationships back with his father, with his brother, and the royal family, well, good luck with that one now. But either
yes,
way, with credibility with the nation, beyond basically the royal family, the British people, and even anywhere else, it's interesting that people have different perspectives. There is a consensus that was taken fairly recently about Prince Harry in America, and they seem to question some of his judgment, but have a little bit more sympathy because of what's happened to him during his upbringing. People in Britain have less sympathy, partly because of what they're starting
yes.
to see unfold. But what would here's my let's take a bigger look at the bigger picture. What would your guidance be to Prince Harry now, in terms of where he is, what he said? So we can't wipe away the past, but what would you guide him on for the future?
Uh, yeah, well, I think that it is possible to use that very comment as a springboard. I mean, he can say yes. He could use that comment and then launch into it on how he has compassion for people. He could not just backtrack, but he could take the exact opposite point of view. You don't understand what I was saying. They're chess pieces in that they need to be removed and he could talk about his love for all people and show evidence, from how he's being compassionate, which I'm sure he can. But I would, I wouldn't, I would go either that route, or there's two routes. You see, either he goes that route and really takes a strong lead. In fact, I think would say take the lead in his marriage away from his wife, which it does seem to me that that's why there's gone down this sensationalist route, or become completely private citizens and don't go out in public, don't make public engagements, just live as a private citizen. He's got enough money to do that. And maybe he could have a farm, or if he wants to stay in America, a ranch, and run that and do something constructive, but out of the public eye. One of those two routes, either move away from this sensationalist approach.
Yes.
He can show his compassion for Taliban. I think you could probably do it not by the Taliban, by showing compassion for Muslims. He could come back to this country, visit people in a mosque. He would be welcomed. He's still a big enough celebrity, or just completely opt out. But don't keep doing what you're doing.
Yes.
You're just saying stupid things.
Well, interestingly, not surprisingly, even though things are filtered through to the media, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Rishi Sunak, said he would not comment on the appropriateness or inappropriateness of Prince's 25 kills claim, but he added he was enormously grateful to our armed forces, quite rightly so. So, yeah, I think the point that Rishi Sunak is saying, let's be a bit more discreet. Now, a Ministry of Defence spokesperson said that when asked about the Prince's kill number, was forthright and said, "We do not comment on operational details for security reasons. Maybe there's some thought there for Harry." I wonder what our listeners think.
Yes, what do you think? He's just being... It's just silly, isn't it? You would have thought he, or at least his editor, would have enough common sense, but you'll notice the media is still against it, asking about his kill number. As though it's a video game or some sort of thriller movie. Just ridiculous. He's not going to get help from the media. Doesn't want to look there. Let us know what you think. Yes, we'd like to know. Just leave a comment if you're watching on video. If you're on the podcast, well, where do you go? markandpete.com. Make sure you subscribe. You can leave a comment on this and every episode. We'd love to hear from you. But for Mark and myself, it's bye for now. Tune in next time.